Hello everybody, it's Tim here again, another movie review, this time for Wonka. Yes, kind of a review off the beaten path here, since most I review comic book films and pretty much horror films. But I figured why the hell not do a review for Wonka. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the original films, or the original film, I guess, with Gene Wilder. I've seen the Tim Burton version, I've seen both of those a bunch of times. But it's been a while since I've seen them a bunch of times, but it's been a while since I've rewatched them, I guess is the word. Now, just looking at this film and going by those other films, this is not on the level of that original Gene Wilder film. It's not. If you're trying to see this as a prequel to that original Gene Wilder film, it don't work. As a prequel to that original film, it's just really okay. But really, this is its own film. It really has, like, no connection to that Gene Wilder film. It has no connection to the Tim Burton film. Although, the way Timothy Chalamet, I believe is the actor's name, who's also in Dune, he was good in that. The way he acts in this film, and even the way he looks, he's much closer to, like, the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka, and most of his mannerisms and his smile and stuff, than he ever was Gene Wilder in that original film. But he's much more whimsical here. He doesn't have the edge of the versions from the Tim Burton movie or the original movie. It's much more of a lighthearted family film for the majority of it. There's some darkness, slight darkness, some darkness in the story by the time you get to the end and you find out, like, the orphan girl Noodle or whatever is coincidentally related to the guy Slugworth, and he didn't want anybody else to, like, have any, like, a stake in his candy empire by the end, chocolate empire, so he, like, threw the baby away or whatever. That was his brother's baby after his brother died, who was married to, like, this poor girl, as he puts it. And that's really the only, like, darker part. Up until then, well, even for the rest of it, it's just kind of a whimsical standard family film, really. This really doesn't really feel like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for the most part. It just kind of feels like a standard family film and a standard kind of generic family film story. But it is charming when you get into the movie, when you got the Willy Wonka character, like, coming into the city or whatever, and the whole joke that the city's, like, this fantastical city or whatever is run by, like, a chocolate cartel, Slugworth and these other two guys, and they're basically, like, all in cahoots together, and they're paying off the chief of police, played by Keegan-Michael Keel or whatever, or Pill. I'm not sure what his name, how you say his name, but he's good here as well. The guy from Key and Peele, he's really funny here. Like, some of the jokes, like, they pay him off to, like, beat the shit out of Willy Wonka, so he won't be selling chocolate to, like, try to mess with their businesses or whatever they got going on. He, like, takes Timothy Chalamet and, like, ducks his head down in the water, and he pulls him back up. He's like, "You gonna keep selling chocolate?" Just drowning him again. That was pretty funny. That he had, like, the best lines in the movie. Like, he did, like, the guy from Key and Peele. Like, he shows up and these people have, like, tried Wonka's candy and they're floating in the air, and he walks in. He's like, "Hold on, people, nothing to see here. Just some people defying gravity." Like, his lines are, like, on the nose, pointing out, like, the ridiculousness of it and everything that's going on, just, like, the fantasticalness of it, of the movie at points. That's pretty funny. The guys who played the villains in this, they do a good job, and they play it, like, completely on the nose as villains. Like, the guy playing Slugworth is like, "Chocolate," he's, like, really on the nose as the bad guy. They're pretty fun. At least the guy that plays Slugworth was. The other two are just kind of background noise, but they do a good job for what they are. Like I said, though, this movie suffers from being really generic. The songs in the movie once again, they are generic. But the guy who plays Willy Wonka, he's slightly better than Johnny Depp was in the second movie, mostly because Johnny Depp's Wonka was, like, all serious. Well, he was, like, all creepy and weirdness, which I liked in that movie because that was a Tim Burton version of it. I understand why some people who love the first one don't like that version, but for a Tim Burton version of the movie, that made sense to me. But that version just had the creepy and weirdness in it and didn't have the whimsicalness like the first version had with Gene Wilder, who had elements of both. And the Johnny Depp version just had the creepy and quirky and weirdness to it. And so this version suffers from not having that. He has a little bit of that, like, weird quirkiness to him, but he doesn't have it in, like, the creepy fashion like the other two versions did. But he's slightly better than Johnny Depp because he has a bit more of a whimsical, fun charm to him than Johnny Depp's version did. So he's somewhat better than Johnny Depp. And the Johnny Depp version, I would give it, like, a 3 out of 4 from memory serves. And this one, I'd also give a 3 out of 4 just to say, I think I would give this version the same score as the Johnny Depp version, but this one's slightly better because it's a bit more fun as a movie than that one was as a remake. Hugh Grant shows up in here as the Oompa Loompa. He is kind of funny when he's in the movie, but at the same time, he does look like a CGI creation and kind of takes me out of the movie. Even though he does do a good job with it and does have some funny moments, it really does feel like, well, you probably should just hired a little person because the CGI for him or whatever, it takes me out. It still looks kind of wonky. And he's barely in the movie. When he shows up, though, he is pretty fun. Willy Wonka gets, like, in prison in this washroom or whatever, where these people took advantage of him, making him sign this contract that he didn't read the fine print to, so they could, like, bill him for, like, everything he was doing in this hotel, even stuff like turning on the faucet or whatever. and walking up steps. So it's obviously a fantasy world, and it works in the realm that the movie creates for itself. And they lock him up, and he's got like wash clothes for so long or whatever. So, like I said, it's a very generic, like family film type setup here. And they sing a song about washing and stuff. The rest of the cast does. There's this little girl named Noodle who turns out to be related to Slugworth, which is pretty contrived. And then by the end of the movie, Wonka helps her like find her mom, her real mom, and everything. But like I said, the actors all have charm in the roles, and the movie does have a fun feel to it and fun vibe. And the songs in it are generic, but they're done well enough with the guy playing Wonka and everything, and the rest of the cast. By the time you get to the end and he starts like repeating the Pure Imagination song from the original, it's good. It's a good redo, but it's not great. Like Timothy Chalamet or whatever, he doesn't have the vocal range and the singing ability of Gene Wilder. He just doesn't have the charm in the role when he's trying to sing the song. So it lacks the oomph when he actually goes to it at the end. Overall, by the time you get to the end of the movie, is actually when he starts like saying, "Come work for me, Hugh Grant, Oompa Loompa, and we'll open up a factory." And that's pretty much when you get to the end of it. And also at the climax, they're being like threatened to be killed by drowned in this chocolate, big chocolate like collection of chocolate that the bad guys or whatever have down in this hidden like factory compartment chamber, and they're going to drown them in it. And they manage to get free from there because the Oompa Loompa saves them, Hugh Grant. Which is really his only big moment in the film. Before that, he's just kind of in the film in bits and pieces, maybe one or two scenes. But and the film ends happily, and the bad guys, of course, get sent to jail. Like I said, the dude from Key and Peele is really funny because he's like addicted to chocolate, and they're like, "Here's your payments for getting rid of Willy Wonka," and he like takes the thing and starts like sniffing it and shit because the chocolate in it. And they're like, and after they like pay him to like kill Willy Wonka, and he tries to blow him up on the boat, but of course he survives. And he tries to blow him up on the boat, and then they reward him by dropping this like giant ass present of chocolate on top of the dude's vehicle. It was hilarious, and all throughout the movie, he's getting fatter and fatter as the film goes along. And by the time you get to the end, the dude from Key and Peele looks like he weighs like 1,000 pounds. It's pretty hilarious. Overall, the film has fun to it. It is not a great movie, but it's good for a reboot. Like I said, if I compare this directly as a prequel to the original one, it doesn't. It would just be okay as a time waster, and even as a prequel to the original one, it doesn't match up to that film at all. This is its own thing because it's really only the way to logically view it because it doesn't link up to that original film at all. As its own movie, as its own like new reboot of Willy Wonka, it is a bit generic, but slightly better than the Johnny Depp version because it has a bit more whimsical fun to it. Overall, it's a 3 out of 4, just like I would give the Johnny Depp version. Like I said, it's not great, but it's a good family flick. Still doesn't hold a candle to that original movie. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.